What if I told you that in most cases, 65 might actually be the worst age to retire? After helping over 500 clients time their retirement, I've learned something that might shock you. The happiest retirees do not follow arbitrary rules. They tune into critical readiness signals that have nothing to do with the number on their driver's license. I'm Josh, a CFP and partner at an award-winning retirement firm. I've seen firsthand that most people are following a retirement playbook written for someone else's life. They target 65 because their parents did, or 67 because Social Security says so. But here's the reality. Almost half of retirees don't even get to pick their own date. The Employee Benefit Research Institute found that 48% leave earlier than planned thanks to layoffs, health issues, or just even burnout. Only 10% retire later than expected. It's almost a coin flip whether you'll actually get to choose, so banking on figuring it out at 64 is a huge risk. The smartest retirees don't just wait and hope it works out. They take control. Let me share another stat that should reframe everything for you. A Transamerica Center study found that among people who delayed retirement, nearly half wished they'd done it 4 years earlier. 4 years. That's over 1,400 days of alarms, long commutes, and postponing everything that you actually want to do. These are folks who retired broke or unprepared. They were successful professionals who played by every rule, except for the one that matters most. They didn't listen to their own situation. Think about it like coaching an NBA game. Great coaches don't make substitutions just because the clock says so. They read the court, react to the action, and adjust in real time. Most people just keep staring at the scoreboard, missing the actual flow of the game. Now, here's what surprises people the most. I've never had a client regret retiring too early, as long as they were financially and mentally prepared for it. The regret always runs the other way, waiting too long. Let me give you a real example. Adam was a marketing executive making $300,000 a year. He told me, "I can't retire at age 55. That's way too early. I need another 10 years. But when we ran his numbers through our planning process and stress tested every scenario, his plan withstood everything. Market crashes, high inflation, unexpected healthcare costs. His real obstacle wasn't the math, it was fear. Fear of stepping into the unknown and making a big, potentially irreversible decision. If the math said you could retire tomorrow, would you trust it, or would you keep working out of fear? He finally retired at 55 after seeing on paper that he'd be okay. Fast forward 2 years later, and Adam says it's the best decision he ever made. He's checked off 12 countries off his travel list and started the photography business he always dreamed of. And here's the surprise. His portfolio has actually grown in retirement. He could have left even sooner. His turning point was realizing he was ready. But here's what some people might miss. They think the biggest question is, can I afford to retire? That's just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. There are actually 3 readiness signals that align before a successful retirement. And you don't have to guess, you can test each one of them. Think of it again like running an NBA team. You wouldn't bench your star player just because of the game clock. You'd watch for the right moment based on the flow and what your team needs. Retirement timing, it should work the same way. The first readiness signal is stress testing. Tested confidence. This isn't about plugging numbers into online calculators that assume 40 years of smooth growth. Because if we're honest, when has life ever worked that way? I walk clients through one of our favorite tools, the Guardrails strategy. This is a set of rules that automatically adjust your income up or down if the market zigs or zags. Picture this. If the market outperforms, the system tells you to spend a little more. If there's a downturn, it signals a temporary pullback. But there's no panicking and no late night spreadsheets. Just clear steps that keep you on track. My client Mark, a high achiever with plenty of resources, was terrified of retiring during a downturn. Here's the twist. Even when we modeled a 2008 style crash, his plan still held up. When we ran simulations of everything from a decade-long inflation grind to the toughest market scenarios, his plan survived 94% of those toughest cases. Even in the worst scenarios, Just small tweaks let him maintain his lifestyle. Mark ended up retiring 2 years earlier than planned. Now he says he sleeps better than he did even while he was working. So let's flip this on its head. Even wealthy retirees can make this error. They ignore the health window until it slams shut. Here's what the data shows. People in their early 60s spend way more on travel and bucket list adventures than those in their late 60s. Why is that? It's not about money, it's about energy. The big question is this: would you trade $100,000 for 10 extra years of energy and adventure? Think about that for a second. Let us know. What's one thing you'd regret not doing if you waited too long to retire? Because having more money, it's nice, but having the health and energy to actually enjoy it, that's priceless. Physical capability isn't a forever resource. I've seen clients at age 78 with more money than they'll ever spend, but they're physically unable to manage that trip to Australia that they always dreamed about. Your optimal health span, which is your best retirement energy years, often peaks in your early 60s and then tapers down fast. If your dream is hiking, playing with grandkids, or traveling the world, every extra year you work might mean trading time for dollars that you'll never use. Here's the exercise I use with my clients. Get brutally honest about your bucket list. Is it active or relaxed? If it's active, the clock isn't just ticking on your finances, it's also ticking on your ability to do the very things that you want. One of the biggest breakthroughs I've witnessed came from clients who dreamed of walking Spain's Camino de Santiago. We modeled what it would take to finance that trip at 63 versus age 73. The numbers didn't change much, but the likelihood of enjoying the experience did. They chose to retire at 64 once they realized their health window wouldn't last forever. But here's where most high achievers might stumble. Money, check. Health, check. But what are you actually retiring to? Losing your purpose is a silent threat. Suddenly, your identity isn't director of operations or sales leader, it's just retired. The happiest retirees retire to something, not just from something. Let's look at Luke's story. Luke had the finances and health nailed down, but no clear vision for his day-to-day life after work. I asked him, if work disappeared tomorrow, would you know what to do with yourself? Like many people, he said, well, I'll figure it out. Instead, we spent months helping him try new roles like mentoring and volunteering. 3 years later, he's doing well. But that's because he built purpose before retiring. Purpose matters. It's what gets you up in the morning and breathes life into your retirement days. So here's another framework that I use. Ask yourself this: if you stopped working tomorrow, do you already have activities lined up that would pull you out of bed and put you into the world? Projects, relationships, or passions? If not, put some real energy into building those before your last day of work. So let's recap. First, financial readiness. Can your plan withstand a 2008 style crash and a decade of inflation? Do you have rules in place for adjusting your spending? Second, the health window. Are you physically capable of your bucket list dreams today, or are you at risk of waiting until they're out of reach? And third, purpose. Are your days after work already filled with things you look forward to, things that use your talents and give you energy? When those three signals align, that is your all systems go moment. Age, that's just a number. What truly matters is your actual retirement readiness, not someone else's timeline. So here's your final action step for today. Lay out your true living expenses, stress test your finances with tough market scenarios, write out your top retirement dreams, and get honest about whether you can do them now or down the road. If you're not sure what you do with unstructured time, start trying out some new projects or volunteering. Most people discover they're closer than they think if they just drop the arbitrary milestones and focus on what really matters. The happiest clients I work with, they stop asking, when should I retire? And start asking, when am I ready? That shift from passive to intentional makes all the difference. Now we have timing figured out, but taxes, that's a silent killer. Go ahead to this next video to avoid six-figure drains to your retirement. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next deep dive.